And if you ever thought someone was judging you, only to find out they weren't even thinking about you. Or if you thought you were going to fail an exam, but ended up doing just fine the next day. Or if you stayed up late thinking about a problem that completely solved itself the next day. If your hand is raised, congratulations, you have a fully functioning brain that has been lying to you your entire life. We like to think that our brains are some smart supercomputers that take decisions to keep us happy. But that's not really true. Science says that your brain chooses what to focus on, deletes the boring parts, and often makes problems seem bigger than they actually are. Reality isn't what you see, it's what your brain thinks it sees. Take your eyes, for example. Neuroscientists often use a test called change blindness. Let's start with a quick game. I want to show you an image on this screen and then flash a blank page for a millisecond. After that, I'll show you the same image but with an object completely deleted. Let's see if you can find it out. As the two images keep switching back and forth, you may realize that your brain finds it extremely difficult to find out the missing piece. But why? Here's the object that's actually disappearing. It seems so obvious now, isn't it? So why couldn't you notice it before? Right now, stick your thumb at your arm's length. Look at your thumbnail. That's the only point that's in high definition focus by your brain. Your eyes process around 10 million bits of data every second, but your brain only processes a small fraction of it. The rest is all just a blurry guess. And it does this for one simple purpose. Your brain was never made to keep you happy or joyful. It was meant to keep you alive. Let's go back a few 100,000 years. Imagine a group of cavemen sitting around a pond. And then there's a sharp rustling sound in one of the bushes. One caveman assumes a lethal predator and begins running away. Another caveman thinks it's just the wind and brushes it off. If the first caveman was wrong, no big deal. He just lost a bit of energy, but he lives to see the light of day again. But if the second caveman was wrong, it becomes a catastrophic evolutionary dead end. So, by natural selection, we're all the direct descendants of the first caveman. We are all children of paranoid, hyper-vigilant overthinkers. This is what psychologists like to call the negativity bias. Let's say you finish a difficult project and get home. 5 people tell you, wow, that was a mesmerizing performance. And then one person says, it was terrible, I think you busted it. Which one do you think about when you're trying to fall asleep at 1 a.m.? Do you ever positively overthink? Not really. There was this one time when I sent a message to someone who was really important to me. I wanted them to respect me, so I overanalyzed my message so much. And then I hit send. Then 1 hour passed, then 3, then a day, and they still didn't look at my message. And then my brain went to work. Maybe you sounded too needy. Maybe you offended them. By the second day, my brain had constructed a whole courtroom case against me with absolutely no evidence. That's when I realized we actually suffer more in our own imagination than we do in reality. And then they finally replied, sorry, my phone was broken. That's it. We see this phenomenon of overthinking every day in how we work. We think procrastination is a character flaw. We beat ourselves up for it and call it laziness. But that's not really true. Procrastination is actually a neurological defense mechanism. Whenever you look at a huge textbook or a difficult project, your brain measures the mental and emotional stress coming with it. It wants to save you from all that strain, so it begins lying to you. Hey, you're tired. Instead of doing all this, let's go sleep for a while. Or let's go scroll on social media for just 5 minutes. It's trying to save you from a predator that doesn't even exist. And whenever we reach any point of exhaustion, we take a step back and say, I have no energy left. David Goggins, a former Navy SEAL and athlete, says, whenever you think you've reached your potential, whether emotionally, mentally, or physically, you've only reached about 40% of your true capability. The rest 60% of your limit is locked away in a hidden reserve of strength that's guarded by a brain that's constantly lying to you. We've seen athletes crumble to their finish line. Have you ever wondered why? It's because their brain is saving them from something that could potentially harm their health status. There was this one psychological study called the Ash paradigm, where 5 to 6 people were made to sit in a room, and then one participant entered the room. These 6 people were actually secret actors. They were made to lie to the participant. They were shown a target line and were asked to match it with the other lines based on their length. As you can see, the target line matches line C the most. But one by one, the actors stood up and confidently said it was line A. 1/3 of the time, the participant went through a neurological conflict. They looked at the line that was clearly shorter, rejected the evidence, and said it was line A just to match with the group. So how do we live in a world where our brain is constantly lying to us? How do we play a game where the dealer is constantly cheating? It's by understanding this simple truth. You can't think your way into a new way of acting, but you can act your way into a new way of thinking. Let me repeat myself. You can't think your way into a new way of acting, but you can act your way into a new way of thinking. You must make your brain believe you. There was this one time in one of my sister's college classes where her professor told the entire class to assume they were ill for the rest of the day. He told them, if you think of something strong enough, you might actually make it happen. One guy took it really serious, so he began making his brain believe it. And then, before the afternoon, within 3 hours, he had gotten so sick that they had to call an ambulance. Okay, whether these symptoms were due to anxiety, expectation, doesn't really matter. One idea, one suggestion was able to change the way he thought of everything happening inside his body. His brain started searching for a proof of something it already decided to believe. Every day you're given 2 streams of information. One is the fantasies that are based on evolutionary fears, and other is the facts that are based on today's reality. Your brain's greatest ability is lying to you and keeping you comfortable, but your greatest responsibility is deciding whether it's right. Because the lies will always sound like the truth when it speaks in your own voice. Your potential is not hidden behind your limits. It's hidden behind the lies that created them.